The scene opens with a storm last night, wind rattling the windows and rain hammering against the house, mirroring Ethan Harper's inner turmoil. Inside the dimly lit living room, Ethan sits alone, phone in hand, scrolling aimlessly until his world shatters. A notification alerts him to a new video. Rachel, his wife, laughing and flirting intimately with another man at a party. Every frame of the video pierces his heart. The laughter he once thought was reserved for him now belongs to someone else. Thunder punctuates each heartbeat, echoing the shock reverberating through his chest. Ethan freezes, incapable of moving or speaking, as memories of their shared life flicker like a cruel slideshow. Quiet dinners, whispered dreams, and promises of forever. The storm outside mirrors the storm within him, both chaotic and consuming, creating a sense of helplessness and raw vulnerability. The audience is immediately drawn into Ethan's heartbreak, feeling each pulse of betrayal, before Ethan can process the video. Rachel enters the room, her presence commanding and icy. She moves with a deliberate confidence, dressed elegantly, her perfume almost palpable through the tension of the scene. She doesn't deny the video. Instead, she delivers the verbal dagger. Ethan, you're replaceable. Never forget it. The words cut deeper than any physical blow, carrying years of emotional distance and coldness. The camera or audience perspective would linger on Ethan's frozen reaction, his jaw tight, hands trembling slightly, yet outwardly calm. His mind reels, flashing between their past intimacy and the stark present, romantic dinners, their first shared apartment, stolen kisses in the rain, all juxtaposed against the sterile coldness of their current home. The audience feels the contrast of love turned into betrayal, the storm outside echoing the thunderous collapse of trust and certainty in Ethan's world, amplifying suspense and emotional weight. Rather than erupting in anger or tears, Ethan's response is quiet and deliberate. He walks to the bedroom closet and opens a suitcase, signaling a pivotal shift. Tonight, the rules of their marriage and perhaps his life will change. His movements are calm, almost eerily so, but the audience senses a storm brewing beneath the surface. Flashbacks interweave with the present, laughing over shared meals, stolen glances, whispered promises, all now tainted by betrayal. Rachel, sensing his unspoken intentions, smirks casually, hinting that she's already prepared a counterstrike, planting seeds of suspense and danger. This moment blends heartbreak with tension, making viewers anxious for what comes next. The storm outside mirrors the storm inside, reinforcing the emotional vertigo. Every beat Ethan's composed yet tense demeanor, the suitcase's symbolism. Rachel's menacing smile sets the stage for a story of betrayal, suspense, and eventual reckoning, gripping the audience from the first scene. Ethan Harper's upbringing molded him into a man of responsibility and loyalty. From a young age, he learned to put others' needs above his own, often sacrificing personal desires for family obligations. This ingrained sense of duty made him dependable, a rock for those around him, yet left him somewhat naive in matters of the heart. In love, Ethan gives fully and trusts implicitly, expecting the same devotion in return. Professionally, he works long, grueling hours, believing that financial stability equates to security and love. But this dedication leaves his own emotional needs largely unattended. His best friend, Mark, provides counsel and perspective, acting as the voice of reason, but secretly harbors envy toward Ethan's stability and apparent life success. Meanwhile, Ethan's sister, Claire, has always been protective, intuitively, sensing Rachel's manipulative tendencies long before Ethan does. Together, these relationships highlight Ethan's strengths, vulnerabilities, and the blind spots that will later make him susceptible to betrayal. Rachel Harper is the embodiment of charm and calculated control. On the surface, she is affectionate, engaging, and the picture of a devoted wife, but beneath that exterior lies a woman adept at manipulation. Her past reveals a pattern. She gravitates toward men she can influence, seeking social status and excitement, yet she subtly resents the mundane stability Ethan provides. In their present life, Subtle indicators of her betrayal begin to surface. Unexpected anonymous deliveries, unfamiliar scents lingering in rooms, and late-night texts she hastily hides. These small, almost imperceptible signs gnaw at Ethan's subconscious, creating a mounting sense of unease. Rachel's manipulations are precise. She maintains the appearance of affection while orchestrating her own schemes, leaving Ethan questioning reality. These subtle cues foreshadow deeper deceptions, setting the stage for Ethan's emotional unraveling. The audience senses danger not only from the infidelity, but from Rachel's calculating ability to exploit trust. Ethan's home reflects the paradox of his life: luxurious, meticulously designed, yet emotionally cold, a physical manifestation of a loveless marriage. The environment emphasizes the distance between Ethan and Rachel, filled with empty hallways, polished surfaces, and silence that amplifies tension. Ethan's emotional stakes rise as betrayal threatens his sense of identity, pride, and perception of reality. Gradually, he notices inconsistencies hinting Rachel's infidelity extends beyond casual encounters, perhaps schemes involving financial deception or the complicity of people he once trusted. Foreshadowing heightened suspense as Ethan begins questioning the loyalties of those around him, including close friends who may have unknowingly aided Rachel in hiding her secrets. Every glance, text, and delivery becomes laden with suspicion, transforming the luxurious home into a psychological maze. The audience experiences this duality, the glittering exterior of success versus the crumbling emotional foundation beneath, preparing for a high-stakes unraveling of trust, relationships, and personal reality. The scene opens with a tense, dimly lit dinner in Ethan and Rachel's luxurious but cold dining room. The storm outside mirrors the emotional turbulence inside. Ethan sits across from Rachel, composed on the surface, but his mind races. As he confronts her about her betrayals, Rachel initially laughs, dismissing his feelings with a casual, chilling nonchalance. Her laughter cuts deeper than anger, emphasizing her emotional cruelty. She leans forward, mocking him with calculated precision. "Do you really think you're the first man I've bored?" Each word is deliberate, a mixture of venom and performance, designed to undermine his confidence. Subtle hints about his supposed social, emotional, and financial inadequacies follow, each barb sharpening the tension. Ethan's silent observation, paired with the storm outside and the cold ambience, establishes a suffocating atmosphere, letting the audience feel the sting of humiliation while rooting for his eventual empowerment. The room becomes a psychological battlefield. Amid Rachel's verbal attacks, Ethan remains outwardly calm, hiding a storm of emotions beneath his composed exterior. Quietly, he records the entire confrontation on his phone, capturing her laughter, mocking tone, and cruel comments. Every word and gesture becomes evidence not for revenge and haste, but as a tool for reclaiming power. Ethan's mind races, analyzing her manipulations, anticipating her tactics, and recognizing the patterns he had previously ignored. The act of recording transforms him from a passive victim into a calculating observer, giving him agency and control over a situation where he previously felt helpless. Subtle cues in Rachel's body language and speech flickers of arrogance. Moments of overcompensation reveal her vulnerabilities, which Ethan silently catalogs. The audience feels a mix of suspense and anticipation, witnessing the transformation of Ethan from a man blindsided by betrayal to someone beginning to assert intellectual and emotional dominance in a situation that has long left him powerless. As tension peaks, Rachel shifts tactics, attempting to seduce Ethan back in front of the camera, her gestures and words designed to disarm and manipulate. Her charm is intoxicating, yet Ethan's internal monologue reveals a stark clarity. He sees through her manipulations and refuses to succumb. The storm outside crescendos, lightning illuminating their faces as he navigates the psychological battlefield. Rachel's attempts, once powerful enough to sway him, now fall flat against his newfound resolve. The audience experiences simultaneous tension and catharsis. They witness both the thrill of the confrontation and the satisfaction of Ethan's clarity. This scene crystallizes the shift in power dynamics. Ethan is no longer a passive participant in his own life. The dinner becomes more than a confrontation, it is the spark igniting his journey to reclaim autonomy, self-respect, and ultimately, vengeance, leaving viewers captivated and emotionally invested in his next moves. Ethan's world begins to unravel as he uncovers the depth of Rachel's deception. Secret financial transfers from their joint account reveal not only infidelity, but careful planning to manipulate and control. Small signs he previously dismissed now take shape. Altered receipts, hidden online transactions, and subtle inconsistencies in Rachel's stories. As Ethan gathers proof, Rachel senses his growing awareness and escalates her psychological warfare. She gaslights him, making him question his own perceptions and sanity, while orchestrating fake messages from friends that frame Ethan as the problem. Her manipulations intensify when she secretly arranges for the other man to come to their home, creating a looming confrontation Ethan cannot ignore. Each new revelation ratchets up tension, with Ethan caught in a web of deceit, paranoia, and danger. The audience feels suspense, frustration, and empathy as Ethan realizes his previously stable life is built on shifting, treacherous ground. Ethan struggles to reconcile the whirlwind of emotions consuming him: rage at the betrayal, shame for not noticing sooner, and disbelief that someone he trusted so completely could orchestrate such deception. His instinct to forgive clashes violently with a desperate desire to protect himself, creating intense internal conflict. Flashbacks amplify his turmoil, revealing years of overlooked warning signs, small lies, unexplained absences, and Rachel's subtle manipulations. These memories make the audience both frustrated at Ethan's past naivety and empathetic toward his current plight. Every decision becomes a moral and emotional battleground. Does he confront Rachel directly, or gather irrefutable evidence first? Should he seek revenge or simply protect his reputation? The storm outside mirrors his inner chaos, intensifying the cinematic tension. Through this psychological struggle, viewers witness a man at the breaking point, teetering between emotional collapse and the calculated clarity needed to reclaim control. As Ethan processes the layers of betrayal, Rachel delivers a devastating line with casual cruelty: "I could ruin your career and everyone would believe me. You really are replaceable, Ethan." This revelation transforms the stakes from personal heartbreak to existential threat. Betrayal is no longer confined to emotional wounds, it now carries the potential to destroy his professional life, social standing, and identity. The audience experiences rising tension as Ethan realizes the danger extends beyond their marriage. Every action he takes must be calculated to protect both personal and professional survival. His once familiar home becomes a stage for manipulation, each room a reminder of Rachel's control. At this moment, Ethan's internal fire ignites. He resolves that inaction is no longer an option. The scene sets the stage for a suspenseful power struggle, leaving viewers simultaneously anxious for his safety and eager to witness how he will reclaim agency over a life meticulously sabotaged. The scene unfolds on a stormy, high-stakes night, the night of the eviction. Ethan stands in the grand, cold living room, calm yet radiating authority, as he lays out an irrefutable trail of evidence: photographs capturing Rachel's infidelity, secretly recorded videos of her mocking him, and detailed bank statements proving her financial manipulations. The tension is palpable. Rachel, previously confident and manipulative, now flails to regain control. She attempts every trick in her arsenal: tears of regret, verbal threats of retaliation, and appeals to shared history, hoping to sway Ethan or create doubt. But the storm outside mirrors Ethan's composure while chaos rages. He remains unmoved. Each piece of evidence, displayed deliberately and with cold precision, reinforces his control. The audience feels the mounting tension and anticipates the inevitable collapse of Rachel's carefully constructed facade. Ethan has transitioned from the betrayed to the orchestrator of justice in his own life. As the confrontation escalates, the doorbell rings, revealing the unexpected twist. The man Rachel has been cheating with appears at the threshold. Shocked and unprepared for Ethan's orchestrated showdown, Rachel's usual composure falters, her manipulative tactics losing effect. Ethan seizes the opportunity, turning her own schemes against her. With methodical calm, he publicly exposes her lies to all present friends, family, and house staff, leaving no room for denial. The audience experiences a mix of shock, suspense, and satisfaction as the tables are turned. Rachel, accustomed to controlling narratives and exploiting vulnerability, now faces the consequences of her manipulations. The man at the door, previously an accomplice in secrecy, becomes a witness to her unraveling, intensifying humiliation. This reversal of power marks a pivotal emotional shift. Ethan is no longer a victim, and Rachel finally confronts the reality of her exposed deception. At the emotional apex, Ethan's voice is steady, firm, and resolute. The room is thick with tension as he delivers the line that signifies the culmination of his journey. "You don't get to hurt me anymore. Tonight, you leave, and I finally see you for who you are." The words carry the weight of years of betrayal, heartbreak, and silent suffering, but also the triumph of regained agency and clarity. Rachel, for the first time, comprehends the irrevocable shift in dynamics. Her threats and manipulations no longer hold power. The storm outside mirrors the cathartic release within Ethan, rain pouring, lightning flashing. Yet inside, a sense of finality and liberation fills the space. The audience experiences both catharsis and suspense as they witness justice served emotionally and socially, not through physical confrontation, but through intellect, evidence, and unshakable resolve. This climax cements Ethan's transformation and Rachel's reckoning. The storm has passed, both literally and metaphorically. Rachel leaves the house, her presence now a fading shadow of manipulation and cruelty. Humiliation and powerlessness hang over her, marking the consequences of her own actions. Ethan watches her go, not with vengeance, but with calm clarity, a stark contrast to the turmoil of previous nights. The luxurious home, once a symbol of emotional coldness and betrayal, now feels like a stage cleared for renewal. Ethan doesn't rush to celebrate. Instead, he absorbs the quiet, reflective moment. The audience feels the satisfaction of justice, tempered by realism. Rachel's departure solves the immediate crisis, but doesn't erase the emotional scars. Ethan's journey is framed not as the culmination of revenge, but as the beginning of self-assertion. This transitional phase sets the tone for empowerment, showing that reclaiming one's life is a process, not an instant transformation. In the weeks following Rachel's departure, Ethan begins a careful process of rebuilding. He reconnects with friends he had neglected, establishing emotional support systems that remind him of loyalty and trust outside the toxic marriage. He devotes attention to his career, investing in projects that had previously taken a backseat to marital stress. Small, subtle moments signify growth: a morning run through the city streets, reading books he loves, and rekindling hobbies like photography or music. Each activity reinforces his sense of agency and autonomy. While he experiments with casual dating, the emphasis is not on finding someone new immediately, but on reclaiming his confidence and boundaries. The audience witnesses a man learning to prioritize his needs without guilt, highlighting the delicate balance between empowerment and vulnerability. These narrative beats provide a satisfying rhythm, showing healing as an active, deliberate journey rather than a sudden resolution. Ethan's arc concludes not with a fairy tale ending, but with authentic empowerment. He is no longer naive or emotionally passive. The audience sees a man who has reclaimed his identity, learned from betrayal, and established boundaries he never had before. Moments of quiet self-reflection, sipping coffee alone, laughing with friends, or setting terms in professional interactions emphasize his growth. The narrative highlights that happily ever after is less about romance and more about self-possession, resilience, and clarity of purpose. Rachel's absence leaves a bittersweet resonance. While her shadow lingers in memory, it no longer dictates his actions or emotions. The audience experiences catharsis through Ethan's regained control and the subtle joy of witnessing personal empowerment. This resolution balances emotional satisfaction with realism, demonstrating that overcoming betrayal is about inner strength, self-awareness, and reclaiming one's life, not simply punishment or revenge. The narrative closes in the soft glow of morning, sunlight spilling through the windows of Ethan's apartment, illuminating a space that once felt cold and unwelcoming. The storm of betrayal, manipulation, and tension has passed, leaving a quiet clarity in its wake. Ethan stands at his kitchen counter, brewing coffee with calm deliberation, each motion steady and grounded. There's a faint smile on his lips, not the euphoria of newfound love or victory, but the profound relief of survival and self-realization. The audience senses his introspection. Every detail, the steam rising from the cup, the soft hum of the city outside, the warm light brushing against familiar objects amplifies the quiet yet emotionally charged atmosphere. This moment signals that Ethan has reclaimed his agency, learned from his painful experiences, and is ready to move forward on his own terms, leaving behind the trauma without losing his sense of self. As Ethan sips his coffee, his internal monologue crystallizes the emotional journey he has endured. His voiceover conveys quiet but profound clarity. I finally learned the truth. I'm not replaceable, and I never will be again. These words are not shouted or triumphant. They carry the weight of hard-earned wisdom and self-respect. Every betrayal, every moment of manipulation, has culminated in this realization. The audience witnesses a man transformed, someone who understands his own value and refuses to allow past trauma to dictate his future. The cinematic framing emphasizes introspection, lingering shots on Ethan's contemplative gaze, the subtle gestures of relief in his posture, and the gentle rise and fall of his chest. This beat resonates because it's deeply human, empowering yet humble, celebratory yet grounded, leaving viewers reflecting on their own resilience, boundaries, and capacity for self-respect in the